At 84 years old, Connie Smith has reached a place in life where reflection feels natural and honesty feels earned. Long celebrated as one of country music's purest and most emotionally direct voices, Smith spent much of her career letting her songs speak for her. But when the conversation turns to Bill Anderson, the legendary songwriter and performer who played a pivotal role in her rise, she no longer feels the need to remain quiet. Born Connie Joan Romy on August 14, 1941, in Elkhart, Indiana, Smith emerged from humble and often painful beginnings. Raised during difficult economic times, she experienced poverty, instability, and emotional hardship early in life. Music became her refuge and her lifeline. As a teenager, she taught herself guitar and immersed herself in gospel, Appalachian, and classic country music, influences that would later shape her unmistakable vocal style, pure, piercing, and deeply human. Even at a young age, her voice carried heartbreak and strength with remarkable clarity, making it feel both intimate and universal. Her life changed dramatically in the early 1960s after she moved to Ohio and joined a local band. During a live performance, she caught the attention of Bill Anderson, already one of Nashville's most respected songwriters. Anderson immediately recognized the rare emotional truth in her voice and helped guide her toward a recording contract with RCA Victor. That partnership led to one of the most significant debuts in country music history. In 1964, Smith released her first single, Once a Day, a song written by Anderson that struck a nerve across the country. It climbed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart and stayed there for 8 consecutive weeks, an unprecedented achievement for a female artist at the time. The song didn't just launch her career, it introduced a new standard for emotional sincerity in country singing. What followed was more than a decade of extraordinary success. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Connie Smith placed over 70 songs on the country charts, including classics like Then and Only Then, Ain't Had No Loving, I Never Once Stopped Loving You, and The Hurting's All Over. While the genre began drifting toward polished, pop-oriented sounds, Smith remained rooted in traditional country storytelling. Her voice became her signature, controlled yet vulnerable, powerful without exaggeration. Fellow artists frequently described it as one of the finest instruments in country music history. Legends such as Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn, George Jones, and Merle Haggard openly praised her, with Jones later naming her his favorite female country singer of all time. Despite her professional success, Smith's personal life carried heavy challenges. She struggled with anxiety, depression, and the emotional toll of fame, subjects she would later discuss with humility and openness. In the late 1970s, at the height of her popularity, she made the deeply personal decision to step away from the music industry to focus on her family and her faith. It was a rare and courageous choice that further defined her as an artist guided by conviction rather than ambition. When she returned to music years later, she did so on her own terms. Her later albums, particularly those released in the 1990s and 2000s, were met with critical acclaim and renewed admiration, proving that her voice, though softened by time, had lost none of its emotional power. By the early 2000s, Connie Smith's legacy had grown far beyond chart positions or awards. In 2002, she was ranked 9th on CMT's list of the greatest women in country music, cementing her place among the genre's most influential voices. In 2012, she received one of the highest honors of her career with her induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame, recognized not only for her success but for her unwavering dedication to the soul of country music. Yet for Smith, some of the most meaningful recognition came from quieter places, especially the respect of her peers. Looking back now, Smith speaks about Bill Anderson with clarity rather than nostalgia. She recalls meeting him at a time when she barely understood what was happening to her life. Anderson, she says, didn't try to reshape her or turn her into something she wasn't. He listened to her voice and to who she was as a person. He understood that she wasn't a flashy singer, but a storyteller. The songs he wrote for her, including Once a Day, felt as though they were drawn straight from her own experiences. Still, Smith is careful to strip away any mythology. Their relationship, she emphasizes, was rooted in respect, mentorship, and artistic trust. In a male-dominated industry, Anderson gave her stability, treated her as an equal, and reinforced the belief that sincerity mattered more than polish. Now, at 84, Connie Smith doesn't live in the past, but she honors it. She speaks with gratitude for the people who helped her navigate fame without losing her dignity. Bill Anderson, she says, mattered not because of success or recognition, but because of how he treated others. He helped give her a voice, not only on records, but as a person. In an industry often marked by fleeting alliances and unspoken resentments, her words stand out for their grace. Connie Smith isn't rewriting history. She's simply telling it, finally, honestly, and in her own quiet, unmistakable way.